Good morning and welcome to Wilson Pottery Studio. I recently returned from a trip to Oaxaca in southern Mexico, and while I was there I picked up a bit of pottery. Usually when I'm traveling around Mexico and visiting different locations, I try to find the local pottery studios or areas where they produce pottery and pick up some different pottery while I'm there, and that's typical for the area. And these are some different examples of pottery from the state of Oaxaca. It doesn't include all the pottery, different pottery from Oaxaca, but it does have a variety. While we were there, we visited several different areas. We were in the city of Oaxaca and the surrounding area. Part of the city of Oaxaca on the northwest side of town is the community of Santa Maria Anzopa. That area is known for what they call redware, red clayware, and it is a light clay body which they will stain a red color, and then they will apply decoration to the pot. The natural color of the clay is actually this tan color, but this has been stained this red color, the base has, and then they've done appliques. On this one, they've done appliques of different flowers and just a flower decoration around the whole pot, and then they fired it. This is very typical for what is produced there in Atzompa. They have a variety. They do small plates, decorative plates, all the way up to very large pieces. From the same community is this other woman who, her name is Berenice. Now what she's done is she's taken their clay and she's put a white slip over it, and then she's done sgraffito and piercing on the pot in order to make these decorative pieces. This is actually made to be a lamp. The base is out of it, so you can put a light underneath it so it will light up. And this one has decorations of sea turtles on it. I've seen other pieces that were about 4 feet high that were decorated with schools of fish, and they were pierced also, that were luminaries also that would light up. So these are some of the more modern pieces that are being done in Atzompa, whereas this one with the flower decoration is more of the traditional pottery that is produced there. To the south of the city of Oaxaca, there's another community. It's called San Bartolome. The full name is San Bartolome Coyotepec. That area is known for its blackware, which these are examples of them. They are not glazed pottery. These are pottery that actually is the clay is actually a light tan clay, the same color as this clay here. It's just a light tan clay. But when they are fired, and the carbon from the wood firing that they do, it's a pit firing, will impregnate the clay and make them so that they are blackened. Now the shininess that you see on them is from burnishing. These pots have been burnished, and then they have later been either pierced, decorated, carved in different ways. So there are a variety of different pieces that are done there, and this is known as Oaxacan blackware. While we were there, we visited it's a little market for artesanias that they have there. And while we were there, we talked with one lady. Her name is Crispina. She was an elderly lady in her 70s, and she was sitting there tending the store, as well as she was also had pieces like this here that she was burnishing. So she was basically rubbing them with a piece of metal, a metal rod, and she was burnishing them and bringing out the shine of the piece before it would be decorated and fired. This is actually one of her pieces. Her name was Crispina, and her family, her grandsons are producing, her sons also were producing pottery, and she, in her older age, she doesn't do as much as she used to, but she still does some of the burnishing and basic decorations of the pieces. And this is one of her pieces that she decorated. While we were there, we also picked up a little Katrina skull for the Day of the Dead, which is very popular in that area of Mexico. Throughout a lot of Mexico, we picked up one of these little Katrina skulls that has been decorated. While we were there, from one of the other shops there, I just picked up another little pierced vase from them, as well as one of my favorite pieces, which is this jaguar skull that you can see. While we were there in town, we also went over and visited the pottery studio of Doña Rosa. She has passed away, but they keep her studio open and they teach how to do the blackware and everything. They have a large studio there, and there are several potters that are producing pottery still in that studio. But it's a nice little kind of a museum to her, as well as a shop where you can buy blackware from them also. This piece is one of the pieces which I picked up there. It's just a decorative vase that's been pierced and carved. One of the things that's typical for her shop are these little tiny footprints that go around the edge of the pot. And that was something that was typical of her pottery. And many of the pots that are there have that decoration of little footprints walking around the pot. The other piece I picked up while I was there in her shop was this larger Katrina skull, which is very nice, very detailed. They have the hair and the braid, flowers and everything for the Katrina. It's just a very typical and decorative piece. And as I was there also, I did pick up this little owl. I like owls. I have several pieces that I've picked up in different locations that have owls on them. And so this is very nice with the feathers and the carving and piercing that it has. So these are very typical. When people think of Oaxacan pottery, there's the blackware, there's the redware, and the other one they call greenware. And the greenware, I don't have any examples of it here, but it's basically they've taken their regular tan clay like they all use, and it is fired in a clear green glaze. And that's why they refer to it as greenware, because it's been glazed leaf green glaze. And they will make all kinds of pottery and then glaze it in that green glaze. Now when we left Oaxaca, we took a couple days and went down to the coast. And we drove up through the mountains. And as we were driving over the mountains down to Huatulco on the coast, we went through a lot of little tiny villages and little shops that were along the way on this windy road that you can only go about 25 miles per hour maximum, because it was very windy and very mountainous and 2-lane road, and if you got stuck behind somebody it was very slow. But as we were going over the mountains, our first day to drive down to Huatulco, as we were going we saw quite a few shops that sold different arts and crafts. Among them there was pottery, and then there were other decorative pieces, there were fruit stands and everything. So when we were on our way to Huatulco, so we went and spent a couple days on the beach, and on our way back up to Oaxaca to go back as we were coming home, we stopped at a couple of places along there. And what they make there are very basic, just lightly burnished red earthenware clay bodies. Picked up this little burnished mug from one of the locations. We stopped and had a fruit stand and had a couple of stands that were selling pottery from the potters that were there in the mountains. And we picked up this one, as well as this little pitcher that has some light decoration underneath the burnishing, some raised decoration, floral decorations that are underneath it. So there's just this nice little pitcher that we picked up. But one of my favorite pieces, and my wife jokes around because I was just so happy to get it, was, and you look around and you see all these beautiful decorated pots, and I love these pots very much, and I love all the pottery I pick up. But there's this round bean pot. And they had quite a few different ones, but this is one of the first ones I saw there. And it's just a really nice, just earthenware bean pot. It can be put on the fire and heat it up, and you can cook your beans in it if you like. But my wife asked, why did I get it? And the reason is, when I picked it up, it gave me joy. It just made me happy. The shape of it, the roundness of it, it's just a crude basic piece, but it's just this very nice round shape, and that just feels nice in the hand. It's got a nice weight to it, and it's just a beautiful pot. And this was in a little community up in the mountains called Agua de Dios, which means waters of God. It's just a tiny community. There were little shops along the road, and the houses were up the mountainsides. Just a very beautiful location, green, and it's just a nice location. But this is one of my favorite pots that I picked up. It's just this nice round earthenware pot. It's just a little bean pot, and this is just something that is typical. People use these in their daily lives there. It's just a very utilitarian, functional piece, and it's just got a nice history behind it. And these are the type of pottery that are being produced up in the remote mountains of Oaxaca, and that are produced just for the people to use. And it just got a nice ring to it also. This was just a very enjoyable trip. We spent about a little over a week traveling around Oaxaca and then going down to the coast and looking at and picking up different pieces as we were traveling. My wife keeps joking that if I keep up at the rate I'm going, I'm going to have enough to fill a museum of different pottery from different locations. But it's just something I enjoy, and that it just brings me joy to share this pottery with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to send any questions into the comments. And you all have a good day. Thank you. Bye.